So I want to talk about, we were talking about unresolved mysteries. I want to talk about one in particular, but here is my warning to say that I'm going to be pulling on some scenes that were shown in the preview for next week's Game of Thrones. So we can call those spoilers. Maybe it's a little bit of theories and a little bit of connecting the dots, but this is my warning. If you don't want to know, this is the end of the show anyway, so if you don't want to know about what might be coming up next, totally understand if you want to tap out now and you can catch us on the next one. So that's a big, long spoiler warning, but speaking of unresolved mysteries, one mystery the show has never addressed is who sent the assassin to try to kill Bran all the way back in season 1. And the reason why this is important now is there was, it's called the Catspaw assassin, because the person who went had this very unique looking dagger that's been known as the Catspaw dagger since then. And we last saw it when Catelyn Stark took it to King's Landing and confronted Littlefinger about it, and Littlefinger said that's Tyrion Lannister's dagger, and that is why Catelyn took Littlefinger hostage and captured him and blah, blah, blah. So Littlefinger has the dagger. We know that. He's the last person to have it back in season 1. Why is this important now? Well, number one, back in, I guess it was the premiere episode, Samwell Tarly is looking at a book, learning about Valyrian steel, and that dagger specifically was in the book. And everyone was like, we know that dagger. We saw it back in season 1. We're eagle-eyed Game of Thrones fans. Why does it remain important? Well, in the preview for next week's Game of Thrones, we see a character holding the dagger, and there are a couple of different shots of different persons. You can't see who's holding it specifically, but based on the rings on their finger and sort of like the lining of their sleeve, it's very clear that it's Littlefinger who last had the dagger, still having the dagger. Well, why is that important? Because additionally, I love this. They like are
keep it
laying
going,
clues.
Terry. Keep it going.
In the Entertainment Weekly cover image showing Arya Stark, she has the dagger on her. So at some point, Arya is going to get the dagger. I think that this is important, Joshua and everyone watching, because the show, even though the books revealed who did send the assassin, the shows have not, and they could choose someone different, and I think that person could be Littlefinger. If not, I think Bran has so many secrets about Littlefinger that maybe Littlefinger is going to want to go and like try and kill Bran or something to try and keep him quiet, because like Olenna reveals a secret about Joffrey and it changes everything for Jaime, a lot of the things that Littlefinger has done, if they're out, can change the way that Sansa views him, can change the way that he could lose his life over it. So that is my big theory about the Catspaw. Have you noticed that this is something that's been brought up again? Why do you think this dagger is having such a spotlight shown on it to be important later?
I'm going to pull a Davos and go with a short answer and just be like, I didn't really think about any of that.
I think it's so interesting, and I love that there are these little Easter eggy things that the showrunners can pull back and say, here's a callback to season 1, but we're going to bring it back in a big way. It's Valyrian steel as well, so it's important, and especially if Arya can get some Valyrian steel, that would be great. We also in the promo see that she is standing in front of Winterfell, which means maybe it's finally time for her to return and cause some havoc too.
You guys just this is what it's like actually being in an office with Terry when you have a desk right next to her and she's just like spouting off all this Game of Thrones knowledge, like encyclopedic knowledge. And actually it would be cool if people could do that meme for you and just have all the trigonometry and stuff around your face as you're like spinning this giant theory about this dagger and everything.
You said you haven't thought about the Catspaw dagger as much as me, but I will ask you, do you think
not even a little bit as much?
Do you think that we could be near the end for Littlefinger, or do you think he has one last great trick up his sleeve?
Oh, I like him so much. He's so cool. And I feel like he has a larger role to play. I kind of see him as being so resourceful that he might like stick it out till at least the final season.
I think that he's someone like Melisandre who has been sort of on like bought time right now with Sansa, and something's going to happen. He's going to have to go somewhere. No one wants him around except for him wanting to be around, so I think that it's time for a shakeup, whether it's his death, I agree, I think it's a little bit too soon, or him getting kicked out and still doing something somewhere else. And I also want to plug an excellent breakout from Lucy and Tristan last week where they explained Arya's "That's Not You" line to Nymeria, because it added a lot of great insight into something that I think confused a few people. So that's about it for us here on Dragons on the Wall this week. But for all things Game of Thrones, as always, keep it here on IGN.